Hey guys, welcome back to the Lived It podcast. I'm your host, Lived. I'm your host, Liv, and I'm super excited to have you guys here yet another Monday. Like, I really look forward to Mondays. I don't know if it's just me, but you could leave that in the comments. If you look forward to Mondays. So, let me just start off by saying, if you guys have not yet subscribed, go ahead and subscribe because you're gonna love it here. Trust me, this is like a relationship-based podcast where we just have conversations about relationships. Now, not necessarily your relationship with your spouse or your partner, but also your relationship with God, your relationship with yourself. Like, that category is so vast. So we talk about all kinds of things here. And we're 4 weeks in now? Or 4 episodes in? No. How many episodes in are we? Oh Lord, time is flying. But we're good much episodes in. So we have a lot more to talk about, but just subscribe and share and like and comment and all that good stuff. So I hope I don't sound like I'm whispering because my son's asleep right now. And he's like the Tasmanian devil. So recording is like, I only can record if he's not here, if I'm at the studio, or if he's asleep. Sometimes when I'm at home, I just have like these Hail Mary moments where I'm like, something just popped into my head. I have to get it on to my laptop. So this is one of those moments. But I think about 3 weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was 3 episodes ago, I had Kathy Ann on, and she basically discussed what it meant to put God first in your marriage. Kathy Ann has been married over 20 years, and she's my aunt. So, from the outside looking in, and I've been around, I've been around so long, I was in her wedding and everything. Her and my uncle have such a strong relationship, and, I've never seen them fight. I've never seen, like, them split. This is just me. Of course, I know these things do happen, but that's definitely something that I admire to see in a relationship, especially coming from a relationship like myself, which has been so rocky over the years. Like, as I shared with you guys in one of my previous episodes, my kid's father and we've been together since we were 17. So just over 11 years. And when I tell you, like, we've been through hell and back, like, I don't know how we still manage to, like, still love each other and make it work. But we've been through, like, hell and back. And a lot of the things, just kind of listening to her episode where she spoke on how, with God as the foundation, in your relationship, it's just certain things that you won't do to each other because of your respect for God or because of your love for God, and certain things you won't do to your spouse. I was like, wow, I never looked at it that way, because when people say put God first, in my head, I'm just like, okay, so does that mean that we both need to be married? Like, what does that truly mean? So I'm so glad that I brought her on to, just kind of break that down, because I had so many people, her as well, just reach out to us and DM me or send me a message on my phone or on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, everything. And just was telling me, like, how the episode was such a blessing to them, and they felt like they really needed that in the space that they were in with the relationship that they were in. So I'm really glad that I did, just kind of follow my mind and went through with that episode. But anyway, that's not what this episode was about. Shortly after that episode, one of my really, really, really good friends, she called me or whatever, and she just was like, that episode was just like so on point. She was like, the episode was just so on time, and that in the relationship that she's in right now, like, it's just certain things that, she's trying to figure out about taking the next step. And she was like, So I was like, I was like, just getting feedback, because every time I release an episode, I like to hear people's feedback, because I'm not doing this. I mean, I'm not doing this for myself. I'm doing this for the greater good, for everybody else. Like, not only do I need to hear this, I mean, I need to hear this, but I still want to share my journey and my knowledge, and the people in my life that have helped me to be like a better person, and a better girlfriend, and a better molding of a wife, based on their experience. I want to share that with you guys. So she was basically just telling me she was so happy that I did the episode, because it was so on time. She wasn't sure if that was I wasn't sure if that was something that my viewers were interested in hearing. But like, I was just so happy, because the knowledge that she was able to give on that episode, like, just put me in a different space. Like, as you guys know, I'm not married or anything. I've been to propose to twice, but I'm not married. We'll discuss my proposals in another episode, I promise. But so it was just a lot of things that I took away, and I was like, wow, I never looked at it that way. Oh my gosh, So it was a great episode. But she was like, she was glad that I did do the episode, because the fact is that our relationships don't last. Our marriages don't last. And when I say our, I'm 27. I'll be 28 in 2 months. Ooh, ooh, Leo baby. But I'm 27, and she's just a few months older than me. But she was like, in all honesty, like, not trying to shade anyone or whatever, statistically, our marriages don't work. Like, and like I mentioned in that episode, like, if we're married for 4, 5, 6 years, kudos to you. Like, even if you get a divorce after that period, the masses of our generation, we're still like clapping you on, like, girl, man, you did good, because some of us can't even withstand in a marriage, and some of us got issues. We don't even want to get married. But she was like, it's the truth. It doesn't work. And she was like, she feels like that's what our relationship is lacking, is just putting God first in our relationship. So she thanked me for doing the episode, and told me how much of a blessing the episode was for her. But I just kind of began to think about it, and I just kind of jot down some notes, and something that was going through my head after I came off of the phone with her. Like, what really is the issue in our generation? Now, I could write a book on this topic, because, like I said, I've been through a lot in my relationship, and not even on his part. It's just on my part, being so young. And like I said, we've been together since we were 17, and so it's been what, 11 years now? Wait, yeah, whatever. But it's been about 11 years, and 17 to 27, it's inevitable that you don't grow. Like, you're going to grow. You're gonna change the things that you like, the things that you don't like. So of course we're changing yearly, some of us daily. But it's still a lot to know someone, come into a relationship as a person being this way, and as time passes, their views may change, their morals may change. It's still growth at the end of the day. So, and I feel like that's where the wedge comes in relationships, but more so on our generation. This is something I jotted down. The problem with our generation is that we go from shitty relationship to shitty relationship. We get all broken up, and then we go into another relationship looking for healing from our past broken relationship. Now, that may seem fine, except now you're looking for healing through someone else, when God has given us the gift to heal ourselves. And what I mean when I say that is, okay, we would literally be in a relationship with a guy, whatever. The guy cheats on us. What's the first thing we're going to do? I mean, after we go put on our Mariah Carey and our Monica, drown ourselves in sorrow. Then we would drop into our K Michelle, we get on our hot girl ish, and then we start, feeling ourselves. So now we're hurt. We go first thing we go put on our freakum dress on. We call our girls like, hey, let's hit the scene. I'm not gonna be inside moping and crying and blah blah blah. But the thing about it is, so this is what someone told me. The best way to get over someone is to get underneath someone new. No, I've tried that. It doesn't work. All you're doing is adding more pain, more suffering, and you're already in a broken state, and then here you go dragging someone else in it, and like it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So that was definitely the stupidest advice that I've listened to, and also the stupidest advice that I've gave. But we just our generation is savages. Like, I always tell people, gone are the days where we're sitting at home crying, listening to these sad songs with, like, we don't even do that anymore. Like, we're just like, you know what? Who you think he is? Who I think I am? The streets been waiting. Da da da. And then we go out there to get into another relationship, and we haven't even fixed ourselves from the past relationship. Like, our generation is petty. It's like a tit for tat. Oh, he did this to me, I'm gonna do this to him. Oh, who you think he is? The streets been waiting. We literally would not even sit down and talk to our partner and be like, you hurt me. When you did that, you made me feel this way. By saying that, you made me feel like this and that. Because a lot of the time, what I've noticed, a lot of the time, our boyfriend or girlfriend may do something to us and not even, not to say that it wasn't intentional, but they just may not mean it in the way that we received it, or they didn't mean to make us feel this way, or whatever the case may be. Because it's not just cheating. It's other things that play a part in breakups. But before we even say this is the issue, women, we go full silent treatment. Half the time, the man don't even know what the hell they did. They're just sitting around, walking around the house, scratching their head like, you still mad? Then they get upset. They're angry because you're angry. And now two people are angry. And he don't even know what you're angry for. Like, do you understand where I'm coming from? And it's so funny because, like, I was queen of this in, like, my late teenage, early 20s. Like, I was queen of this. Like, I'm like, why do I have to explain to you why I'm upset or what you did? But, as I grew, I'm like, soon as something goes down, I'm like, come here, we need to talk. You did XYZ that made me feel ABC and blah, blah, just on. And just sit down. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it like that. Or, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. I understand where you're coming from. Just communication. We don't, our generation, I feel like we don't communicate. We do not communicate. It's always I'm not gonna get mad. I get even. Oh, that was like my go-to model. I don't get mad, I get even. Oh, you out here texting your ex? Let me tell you something. And then here we are, we're just dragging innocent people into our turmoil. I mean, you're not going to leave the man. You're not going to leave the woman. So what are you doing all this for? Just adding more fuel to fire. And then once you guys get into such a vulnerable state, it's like you guys we've got so much baggage from all the tit for tat, from all the pettiness, that now we have to come back into the relationship and try to not just work through disrespect, but now we have to work through disrespect, cheating, and everything else that goes along with it. It's just not worth it. And just looking in, it just doesn't make sense. Like, if you're going through a rough patch, sit your man down and talk to him. If it's something that he did that you don't like, listen, I think my boyfriend is like so tired of this, like this new version of me, because I would literally used to just like go in the room, slam the door, be in there with my music on for hours. Like, don't say nothing to me. There's no dinner tonight. Like, I would grab my daughter. We would go grab some fast food or order something, and get our food and come home back in the room. I'm mad. I'm mad. But like this matured, grown up version of myself, come baby, sit down. We need to talk. I will talk you to death. I'm going to let you know exactly how I feel. So when we get to the point where I feel like this relationship is not working out, or I'm not happy in this relationship, I could say, well, I've had several conversations with you. So there was no miscommunication. There was no misinterpretations. There was nothing on that part. Period. And just put that out there. Also, oh my gosh, let me tell you, what this was my revelation from the mentality that I've had previously. I remember listening to a clip from 2 minutes. It's a 2 minute clip from Will Smith. He talked about happiness. He said that he asked Jada one day, and I love Will and Jada. Like, in my head, they're like my aunt and uncle. But he talked about, he asked Jada what did she think was her biggest revelation about love. And this is what he said that Jada said. Jada said, you can make someone happy. No, I'm sorry. He said that Jada said, you cannot make someone happy. You can make someone smile. You can make someone feel good. But whether or not they're happy is absolutely up to them. Let me insert that link.
About love. And I asked her, I said, what did she think was, one of the biggest revelations that she had about love? She said that you cannot make a person happy. And I thought that was a real deep idea. You can make a person smile, you can make a person feel good, you can make a person laugh, but whether or not a person is happy is deeply and totally and utterly out of your control. I remember the day I retired. I literally said to Jada, that's it. I retire. I retire from trying to make you happy. I need you to go make yourself happy and just prove to me that it's even possible. And after we cracked the hell up, we started talking about, we came into this false romantic concept that somehow when we got married that we would become one. And what we realized is that we were two completely separate people on two completely separate individual journeys. And that we were choosing to walk our separate journeys together. But her happiness was her responsibility, and my happiness was my responsibility. And we decided that we were going to find our individual, internal, private, separate joy. And then we were going to present ourselves to the relationship and to each other already happy. Not coming to each other, begging with our empty cups out, demanding that she fill my the cup, and demanding that she meet my needs. It's unfair, and it's kind of unrealistic, and can be destructive to place the responsibility for your happiness on anybody other than yourself.
But oh my gosh, when I heard that, I don't know, like, listen, my brain operates so differently, and I'm like I told you guys in a previous episode, I'm just like a very spiritual person. Like, I believe in signs from God. I believe that, the world, that everything is working together for my good. Like, these are my belief systems, and I just believe like I can be somewhere and I'll walk past something and I feel like that's a sign from God. Like any little thing, like if I'm going through something, and I remember I spoke about it in my getting to know your host with the rock bottom moment. I said that, right after I had my son, my boyfriend and I, we were just going through. We were looking for a new place, and like he was back in the Bahamas dealing with the store, and I was here, and my credit was so just messed up. Like, just my credit report looked disgusting at that moment, and no one would rent to me, let alone to say, actually buy a house. And those were like a lot of, I spoke about that. Those are the things that, like, you don't know what you don't know. So, I was just talking to him and I was just so frustrated, and I had heard that clip. And when I tell you, like, I was like, I can't do this right now. And he was like, you can't do what? And I'm like, this relationship, I can't do this right now. And, I was telling him, blah, blah, blah. I can't depend on you to make me happy. It was a lot more than, looking for a place. But I had realized, because we had been together so long and being children with a child, I started to depend on him to make me happy. And I felt like this was the norm. Like this is what husbands do. This is what boyfriends do. We're together because we're trying to make each other happy. And when I heard that clip from Will Smith, he was like, you're breaking up with me because you heard a 2-minute clip from Will Smith. And I was like, I couldn't explain it at that time, but I was like, I've just put too much on you. I put too much on you and not enough on myself. And like I said, I used that time, like, moving in with my sister, just to like rebuild myself and just try to get to the place where I can make myself happy. So I literally sat down and was like, Liv, what is going to make you happy? What do you need in life to be happy? This and that. And of course, health and wealth. Health and wealth, were my two biggest things. So, I started to take better care of myself. I watched what I was eating. I started my little workouts. And if you guys know me, like, I've been like I fluctuated between 118 and 120 all my life. So we automatically feel like we're healthy, like, I'm thin, like I don't have no fat in my body. Da-da-da. So I'm like, no. When I started running, I couldn't even run a block like without being out of breath. But those were the things that I was saying, okay, I'm working on myself. And we put too much pressure on our spouse. Like, I want him to do this. I'm not happy today. Why are you not happy? Because he did that. No, 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 no. I'm to the point in my life. My happiness depends on me. And I can genuinely say, like, the space that I'm in right now, I'm happy. And even when I got to that place after our breakup and after we split, we still kept in communication. Of course, we have 2 kids, but he could see the difference in me once I got to that place where I was aiming to make myself happy. And the choices that I were making were to better, me and my kids' life, for one, my health, and building up my wealth. And my goal, and this was another thing. Like I said, I was raised by married folk. Like, all of my aunts, most of my aunts that raised me have been married 20 plus years. So it was all around me. I had very good role models and things to look up to, but it just was like the generation before ours, I want to say, they're more submissive, of course. Our generation, not so much. Like, we're like, who you talking to? Who you telling he can't go nowhere? Oh, I'm gonna show him. I can't, like, I'm grown. And that, and because I was, like, raised by these women who've been in these relationships 20 plus years, I started to realize that a lot of the goals that I had for myself were non-existent, before that point. Like if you had asked me what I wanted to do or what was my goal in life, I didn't have one. It was like I'm with him. You know, whatever he wants to do, I'll support him. But it was nothing that I could say that I asked for his support with, because there was nothing. There was nothing. I was just kind of going along with the flow as if I was like this 1930s wife. Like, okay, I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna go work part time and then come home and dinner's gonna be ready and da, da, da. And imagine doing all this at like 18, 19, 20. Like what? At that age, everybody's like, okay, I'm going to college. I'm going to do this. I'm going to work my way up the corporate ladder. And I just was like, no. Blah, blah, blah. So at that point, just kind of like hitting my rock bottom. And after I listened to that video, I was like, you've spent so much years of your life depending on him to make you happy. When are you going to make yourself happy? like Will Smith said, do you even know if that's possible? Can you even make yourself happy? Prove to me that's possible. And I set out on this mission to like just set my goals. Like, what do I want to do? What's my 1 year plan? What's my 2 year plan? What's my 5 year plan? 10 year plan? Long term. And I can honestly say, like, I found just an all around better version of myself. Like, I shocked myself with my findings, and I just like, I went on this, like, I don't know why. Our we have the internet. Like, there's nothing that we can't find. Everything is literally a search away. So there's almost no excuse for you not to have a hobby, a business. Like, there's no excuse because everything is literally at the tip of your fingers. You could literally search, hey Siri, how do I start a blah 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 business? Go on, and from Google to you, between Google and YouTube, like, you can they call it YouTube University. You can literally start whatever it is. And that's exactly what I did. I started like Googling this and that. And in that period of trying to find my own self happiness, I had never read the Bible. Don't ask me why. I was born and raised in the church, choir team, praise team, usher board, Bible study, Sunday school, dance team, choir. I was everything in the church. So the fact that I had never actually read the Bible, like, from start to finish, I was like, what? So that was one of the things on my list. I'm like, you know what? I need to be more in touch spiritually. I read the entire Bible. By the time that I got to the place where me and my boyfriend had agreed to get back together, this and that, I was genuinely happy. I don't think he could have even recognized, like, the person that I was walking out the relationship, just distraught. And I was a hot mess. I was a hot mess. Like, even like me and my sister would like sit down and have these deep conversations. And like, I really do thank God for her in that period of my life that, she opened her doors to me. And, we like gelled, lived there a year, no issues, not one issue, not one fight. And at that time, like, I felt like I needed someone to like help me, just to watch someone. Of course, she was just coming out of a separation with her husband, and here I am coming out of this relationship. So we pretty much piggybacked off of each other and just kind of used each other to like rebuild ourselves. And gosh, I don't know. I wish one day like I bump into Will Smith. Will Smith, you made this 2-minute video one day about happiness and you changed my life. But like I said, I do believe in science, but like that video really, 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 I just was like, I can't depend on someone. Like, I can't depend on you and your business ideas. Not saying that it's not gonna benefit me, but it's like, that makes you happy. That doesn't make me happy. Okay, what do you want to do? I want to do this. And once I got to that point, definitely I can honestly say that so many things changed. But just to our generation, or the generation before me, because I don't know, I'm starting to feel old. Like, if I'm 28, would the 17-year-olds still be considered my generation or not really? That's a whole different generation, right? But whatever. Just to the people, the youngins, I'm old. Just to the youngins coming up underneath me, like, just my advice to you guys. One, I said this on a previous episode, put yourself first. Know what you want, know where you're going. Those are the three things you, before you even get into a relationship, you should already have in your mind. Because like I said, you will be working and working and working and just going along with the flow and doing everything that everybody wants you to do. And you will lose yourself, wake up 5, 6, 7 years, and you'll be like, I missed out on all this time doing, what were you doing for the past 7 years? I have no idea. Making everybody else happy, not even trying to make myself happy. And just talk to your partner. Talk to you know, everything doesn't have to be tit for tat. It doesn't have to be, okay, well, he did this, so I'm gonna do this. Like, just thinking back on it now, like thinking back on just all the dumb stuff that I did, just being petty, being spiteful, just not knowing what you don't know, just it doesn't make sense. Like we're with someone that we love, that we care about, that we want to be with for the rest of our lives potentially, and then they do something and you do something else to them. You're adding fuel to fire. I feel like this is the spot where the relationships really hit the fan, like, because it's like, it didn't even have to be all that. We're human. We all make mistakes. Men and women. We all make mistakes. So if you're with someone and they make a mistake, don't be like, oh, okay, since you did this, no. If you really love that person and you really want to be with that person, sit down with that person and talk to that person. You did this. When you did this, it made me feel this way. When you said this, it made me feel this way. You hurt me. Like, we got to be vulnerable. We got to, you're with someone who you want to be with for the rest of your life, and you love them on this level, but you can't tell them how you feel. You can't be vulnerable in front of that person. You don't need to be with that person. If you can't tell the person that you're with how you feel, or you feel like you're not as strong because you're sharing your feelings, that's not the person for you. Throw that whole relationship in the trash, because it's not gonna work long term anyway. I'm just saying. In all honesty, if you want a healthy relationship, you gotta, coming out of another relationship and jumping into another relationship is not gonna work. It's one thing to come out of a relationship and then you have a friend, and it's strictly a friendship. Maybe they're helping you, cope with the idea of being by yourself now, or cope with the idea of being single, or whatever the case may be, or just helping you transition to like this new place, this new space that you're going to be in, because now you're single and you're by yourself. You may have been so used to being, all booed up or coupled up or married for so long, and now you have to try and figure it out and do it all by yourself. That's normal to have somebody there to lean on, but like, we've got to get to the place where our mindset isn't to get underneath someone to get over someone, because you're really just adding fuel to fire and further damaging yourself, if I might add. Just further damaging yourself, bringing outside people in, like, your boyfriend cheated on you, you're gonna cheat on your boyfriend. Here goes this innocent bystander now, thinking that, oh, she likes me. Oh, I got a chance. All the while you didn't rebound him. Now he's hurt. Like, just cut it. Cut it completely. Cut it completely. And like, our generation of women are savages. We're savages. We're like competing with the men to see who's the most savage. Sad but true. Like, these women aren't waiting around for, like, I love to see a boss woman. I must say, me personally, I'm not a housemaid. I'm not gonna be at home cooking, cleaning, folding, all day, watching the kids popping babies out left, right, and center. No. No. Now I'm gonna cook and clean and wash everything. I'm gonna do all of that. But at the same time, I got my own life. I'm not gonna be here doing this stuff, supporting you and building your businesses and da 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 da. Like, no, no, gone are those days for me, personally. I can't speak on everybody else, to each his own, but the second that Jada told me that happiness is in oneself, and I thought about that. No, no, gone are those days, baby. But him and I came to an agreement. He was like, "That's fine." Like, I never expected you to do those things, but it was more so me. Like, these are the things that I'm watching women do. The man goes to work, the woman comes home, his plate's ready, da da da, so on and so forth. And that's all. That's all that back then that the women were doing. But it's like, we've grown. We've grown. Women have goals now. We've got goals. We have our own things we want to achieve. I'm gonna be a good woman, but I'm gonna be a better boss. So just put that out there in case my boyfriend's listening. Things have changed, baby. Things have changed, baby. But if honestly, if you want the relationship to work, if you want to take that next step towards marriage and this and that, like Kathy Ann say, first rule number one: put God first in your marriage, because your love for God won't allow you to do certain things to your partner. And when she said that, I was like, oh, damn, I can't sing, but I was like, I wonder if I could insert the Hail Mary clips in here, like, when all the angels start singing. When Kathy said that, guys, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm pushing 30. And like, I never even thought about it on that level. I've heard always, putting God first, but I've never thought about it on that level. That episode was amazing. Like, if you guys have not listened to that episode, I didn't even talk that much in that episode. It doesn't even sound like one of my typical episodes, because I was just grasping the knowledge, and she was just talking, talking, talking. I was like, right. And someone mentioned, like, you barely even said anything in the episode. I was like, that was just so much of the knowledge that I needed, for the relationship that I'm currently in, because like I said, the relationships typically don't work. In 11 years, my boyfriend and I have split at least 5 times, or 6, might be more. No, it's not for years and years, but that was really one of our biggest things with marriage. It was like, he's like, imagine me marrying you, and you're breaking up with me like every couple of months. But I'm working on myself. I'm a work in progress. And like I mentioned to him, like, I got abandonment issues, like you. And that was another thing with communication. I opened up to him. I want to say, like I said, we've been together since we were 17. I want to say like around maybe 23, 24. And this is the crazy part, because we've been together so long. And I told him, I was like, when you did, because me and him had split previously because he stepped out on our relationship. And I was like, when you did what you did to me, you took me back to a place when being a child and feeling like abandoned. Because like I said, I grew up with my aunt, and my mom and my father both lived in the Bahamas. But my mom, she was 16 when she had me, and she was a Bahamian. She had me in the U.S. I'm literally, out of my siblings, I'm the only, on my siblings on my mom's side, let me say that, because my dad has a wheelbarrow of kids. Some that I know, some that I don't know, but we gonna let God work on him, child, because he making my life complicated. But she was 16, and she gave me to my aunt, because she wanted me to have a better life, and I was US, and she felt like it was going to be more opportunities to me. Now, I had a great childhood. I can't complain about that. I lacked nothing, like nothing. Like, there weren't hungry days, or you know like, we always had more than enough. But emotionally, on more of the mental aspect, I felt abandoned. Like I was there with my aunt, and not saying that the love wasn't there, but I could not figure out for the life of me, like, why am I here and my siblings are in the Bahamas? My dad's in jail. My dad came out of jail. He wasn't any more present. So jail, I used to think that jail was the reason why, that me and him don't have a relationship. And then he came out of jail, and I was like, okay, I guess it wasn't jail. You just don't want to be my daddy. So like, it was a lot of things mentally that I battled with for a long time. And one day I just kind of opened up. I was like, when you did that, you made me feel, it took me back to being 10 and feeling like just abandoned. And he was like, what? You never told me you felt like that. I'm like, yeah, well, I'm telling you now. That's how I felt. That's how I feel. And we're in these relationship, especially when you've been together since you were teenagers. You almost feel like your life started when you got with that person, or you'll feel like you'll feel like you'll forget that person even had a childhood or a past before you even stepped into the picture. And he was like, well, babe, like, I really never even, you he basically was like, he never even thought he never even took that into consideration. And after me and him had that conversation, we never had that issue again. But what I do want to say is, from that issue of him stepping out on the relationship, after that, y'all want to see Savage? Listen, honey, I was like a loose missile. Like, I just was like, whatever. It is what it is. F these men. Men ain't this, men ain't that. And I went down this, like, turmoil. Like, is that the word I'm looking for? Like, I went downhill fast, like 100 miles per hour. And like I said, women don't sit home and cry no more. Women, like, I was out. Like, I partied so much during that breakup that, looking back, the only thing I can remember from that breakup is South Beach. Like, I would literally get up, and that was where a lot of my bad credit actually came into play, because I would get up, grab my Discover credit card, grab my Capital One credit card, and I'm out. Like, I call my cousin, like, what y'all doing? We on the road today? Yep, we on the road, like, out. And I'm so glad that I've grown from that person, because I at this stage that I'm in now, I'm able to fix so many more of my, like, tiny issues, like, and like I said, just adding fuel to fire, because at that point, he was apologetic, he was sorry, this and that, he was trying to make it up with me. I didn't even want to hear that. I was like, no, get out of my face. Why are you still here? Your clothes are on the porch. Like, bro. Like, and just looking back, I still would have needed time to, like, grieve and heal and blah 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 blah, and just kind of find my, I just needed the space, of course. But like I said, had we had that conversation, not even if it wasn't before, he did what he did, but even after, it just, I would have avoided a lot of, I got myself in a lot of trouble in that space, in that breakup period, because I didn't care. Like, I was just, like, on this savage mode. Like, I was like, I'm Riri, like, good girl gone bad, like, good girls finish last. Like, that was my mentality for a while too. So by the times we got back together, and I shared this with him, he was like, what? I didn't even know that. Like, guys, it's really just communication. Our generation just lacks communication. Is it something that we weren't taught, or is it something that we just don't care about? To be continued. Let me know in the comments below. And you know what? I'm really, because like I say, like, I just have these, like, boom, ideas or these things that go through my head. And I'm a journaler. Like, I would literally flip my pages open and write 2 pages on one thought that went through my head. Now that I have the podcast, I would literally just record what's going through my head and save it to my computer. And I'll listen back to it and I'm like, you know what? Someone could benefit from that information. But I feel like that. I definitely feel like that with this. So this is definitely going to be an episode. But let's make this a conversation. Like, let me know in the comments, send me a DM. I'm about to turn this into a whole conversation. Like, what is the issue with our generation and why can't we get it right? I've shared with you guys what I feel about the is the issue. You know, my ups and downs and the things that I've learned and how I've grown. I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think is the issue with our generation and why our marriages don't work and why the relationships don't work and why the women are so broken and why also the men are broken? Because we do neglect the men. It's some good men out here with some nasty women. No shade to nobody, but as women, we tend to put it all on the men. Men are dogs. Men are this, men are that. I have seen some great men with some nasty women. Women that don't even deserve, like, you know? So it's definitely not just women that's getting dogged out. Men are getting dogged out as well. And the women think it's funny. I think I've been one of those women that's like, I don't care. I'm a savage. They did it to me. Oh, when it was me. We really got to break out of that. Like, when are we going to let the tit for tat go? When are we going to let the pettiness go? When are we going to find our own happiness? When are we going to communicate with our partners? And if you're not doing these things, the relationship is not going to work. Like, insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. When I learned that, I was like, you know what? Liv, you got to start doing some things differently because you don't like the space that you're in. You're not happy with yourself. You've been doing the same things over and over. Since you were a teenager out on your own and it's not working. So when are you going to do something different? My advice, seek self-help. Books, audios, YouTube videos, like the information is literally out there. Like some of the issues that we go through, the information is right there. All we got to do is type it in, do a little research, do a little Google. Find self-help. Communicate. Don't be tit for tat. It was something else I said. But guys, let's make this a conversation. I want to talk about this. Like, this is something like I've struggled with, and clearly something that my audience is struggling with based on like the responses that I've gotten from the Putting God First in Your Marriage episode with Kathy Ann. But anyway, like I said, send me a DM. You know, let's talk about this. I want to make this a conversation. Like, I feel like this is something that we need to talk about, and the goal is to be in a happy, loving marriage at the end of the day. Whether we were taught it or whether we weren't taught it. So, thank you guys so much for tuning in today. You know, I'm always happy to talk. I love talking. This is what I do. But thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you tune in next week, Monday, for an all-new episode. This one I really do think you're going to enjoy. But I love you all. We'll talk. And guess what? Not only have I lived this, but I've learned this.